Gary's sorry and he wants her back. Yeah, I ain't gonna be able to sing that goofy song. I'm sorry, I'm not Andy or none of these simple people. Ridiculous. What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Vane coming to you with a new Sisters video. In this video, I am breaking down season 4, episode 3, Pleasantries. And we got a lot of further character development and storyline pushing, but for the most part, the episode didn't move too much. We got a little bit of deep conversation in reference to where people stand with their relationships. For example, Preston and Danny had their confrontation. There's a little bit of nugget of, maybe Zach is the one who introduced Preston to the veterinarian. Gary has this whole scheme to continue his little tirade to try to get Andy back because, buying her a car and having millions of dollars worth of gifts in the back seat wasn't enough. He also has to add some trauma and disrespect on top of that. Zach and Fatima, have a very intimate conversation, a very real conversation that's important for the rest of their relationship. And without further ado, I want to chop it up about all of it. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications so that you don't miss any of my sisters breakdowns. Your good sis is coming to you every day with new sisters videos, talking about every bit of information that we have. If you are a sisters fan, fanatic, stan, whatever, this is the perfect place for you to be, because if you're thinking it, I'm talking about it, and I cannot wait to continue the conversation in the comment section down below. So hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications, and then also drop a comment. What you thinking, what you feeling, what you don't like, let me know, because we're gonna talk about it. All right, but the episode opens where we kind of left off of last episode, and it's Danny popping up at Karen's salon to really kind of confront Preston and his little new chick. Now, one thing I'm gonna go ahead and say, y'all, I don't care. I really don't care. Y'all can come for me. Sister was kicking too much energy. Like, not that I think that the new girl should automatically be disrespected, but I don't think that Danny was doing too much, but the new girl was doing too much. Okay, she wanted to start wiggling her head. She wanted to start kicking a little bit of flavor, a little bit of attitude. And I'm like, sis, it don't even take all of that. Danny, go ahead and do what you gotta do. Take him into the office to have y'all conversation. Now, what I will say, y'all, is I'm being messy. In this whole situation, I'm the messy one. Y'all can go ahead and do that. I don't think that Karen is being messy when she called her friend. As I mentioned on my live last night, that's what friends do. Friends look out for each other. Like, my homie's man is out here in these real streets, in these digital streets, whatever streets, doing what he doing, and I think that something is afoot. I think that something is suspect. I'm going to speak on it to my friend, because what? I got her back, and that's not messy. But Erica's being messy right here, because while Danny has no right to actually try to pull Preston up, I'm so glad that she did, because it's drama, y'all, and I'm actually here for it. And part of it, for me, I wanted her to pull Preston to the side and then get read down by Preston. Like, I wanted Preston to kick that same energy that she was kicking his way when she went on her little white privilege tirade and decided to read him for filth about some things that actually don't even apply to him, and it's actually some things that she should own and be accountable for. I really wanted him to flip the script. So that's kind of what I was looking for within this confrontation, and we actually get that. Instead, we got dialogue that seemed a little bit ill-placed, in my opinion. Like, the dialogue that they had in her office felt like it should have happened before the argument at her house and before the white privilege conversation, because Danny was saying things like, oh, I thought that we were working it out, and Preston is like, you can't figure out which piece of me you want, but I'm not good at giving pieces, so you need to figure it out and let me know. And it's just like, well, if you're not good at giving pieces, then it don't matter if she continues to still pick a piece of you, because you ain't gonna be able to do that. It's either all or nothing with you. And if you said that, and if that's what you're trying to say, then say what you said with all your chest and stand on it. And then Danny, you talking about you trying to work it out, or you thought that y'all were trying to work it out. Where, sis? You freaking expeditiously read him for his whiteness, and it didn't seem like it was any room for that conversation to continue. So yes, while he left, and he left it at, okay, if this is what you believe, I'm gonna let you believe that. The way that you also had that conversation framed, it didn't really feel like he could actually say or do anything about it. And it also, you brought up in that conversation how you felt unsafe, and how, like, this whole tirade of things that he's done wrong in y'all relationship, which ultimately felt like, oh, these are all of the reasons why we can't be together. You made me feel unsafe. You have white privilege. Da 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 da. Girl, where in that is oh, let's work it out? Where in that is the door still cracking? I still love you, or I still want you? Because I ain't hear none of that. Did y'all? So to me, the dialogue that they had in here, I was just like, what are they even talking about? They acting like they didn't have this whole white privilege conversation. Like Preston didn't even bring it up. And I'm just like, yo, she just told you that you literally have this white privilege, that you've been getting by on being cute your whole life. Like, why aren't you addressing that? Like, she pulling you into this office because you trying to go on a date, like, and you talking about pick a piece of me. No, keep that same energy is what you need to be saying. I thought you had said that I made you feel unsafe, so I went to found somebody that I could make safe. I mean, he did definitely talk about the girl, which also felt a bit weird, y'all. Like, and I'm trying not to be in my like screenwriter bag, my like filmmaker bag, because specifically when it comes to Tyler Perry stuff, we really have to give ourselves over to the world that he creates, and it doesn't always follow certain rules, right? Like, there's certain screenwriter rules, there's certain like story and like world building rules that I automatically think of as a creative, but you know, sometimes you have to abandon those things when it comes to some of this Tyler Perry stuff. And one of the things is Preston's like, oh, we met 3 days ago at the gas station, but you also know that she's a veterinarian, and then you also said that y'all talk all the time, like y'all been talking all the time. Like, how, sir? The way that he made it seem, it was like y'all have known each other for longer than 3 days, but then you also said that you just met 3 days ago. So where, how does this actually make sense? But okay, all right. Clearly, even though it looked like after the whole white privilege conversation, it was going to be a cooling out period for Danny and Preston, that is not going to happen. We're going to be back on this yo-yo roller coaster ride. For the most part, Preston stood his ground and that I'm going on this date and you ain't gonna stop me from going on this date. But I do feel like he still has some kind of little weakness for Danny in reference to being in this kind of like yo-yo state with her and allowing her to function how she's been functioning. And I hate that for him, honestly. Danny kind of leaves Karen's salon after they have this little altercation, and then she calls El Fuego. And it's like, girl, you also just read him down. You told him he ain't nothing but a stripper and he could never. So what is really going on? Like, you really be out here reading these men, telling these men that you don't want them. El Fuego's been trying to date you for forever now, and you literally crapped all over him. But here you go calling. But I did like the energy that El Fuego was giving her, because he was just like, don't be taking out whatever you mad at on me, because I can hear it coming through the phone. And that's literally what Danny does. Before she leaves the salon, Karen comes in to check on her when Preston leaves, and she's like, why did you do this, Karen? Why did she do what? Call you as a friend to tell you what was going on? And you brought your ass down there? Like, girl, what are you actually talking about? The way that she was so rude to Karen, I definitely could see that she's taking out her anger on everybody around her, which is not cool. And whether y'all want to run with the narrative of Karen is miserable and messy all you want, that's perfectly fine. That don't apply to this situation. This right here, this mess, this is all Danny, and she need to own that. All right, y'all, I'm gonna give this little Zach messy moment a hot second, because that's all, it don't even deserve a hot second. So Karen plants the bug or the seed that Zach is the one who potentially hooked up Preston and his new girl. Honestly, y'all, I was looking at the writing there of like, Tyler Perry needs to introduce this information, so he did so via Karen. Okay, cool. I hate that he used Karen to do it, because these girls already, the audience already hates Karen. These girls already are not necessarily in the best place with their friend Karen. I wasn't really pressed when she like threw out the comment or whatever to Danny. Wasn't that big of a deal. To me, it became a bigger deal when Danny took her butt over to Sabrina's house and then was like, yeah, Karen thinks that Zach hooked them up and that boy betrayed me. When she said that he betrayed her, that's when I was like, all right, now y'all are going a little bit too far. And then Sabrina's like, well, you know, Zach liked to be messy. He liked to play games. He do this and he do that. I'm just like, this man is over here building out his house, living his best life, loving on his new woman. Leave that man alone. Because while all of y'all are sitting up here talking about Zach like to be messy and Karen only told you because misery love company, you the miserable hoes. Y'all are literally the miserable hoes. So you want to be pointing to everybody else, you need to point them fingers right back at you, honey, because it's giving y'all are annoying. And I don't want to use the P word, but it's coming to borderline pathetic in some of this stuff. Like that whole storyline, and the fact that I think that we're getting the birth of this potential storyline just so that these girls can have some kind of conflict with Zach. I ain't here for it. I don't want it. I have no time for it. It seems very arbitrary and dumb to me. It's unnecessary drama. It was an unnecessary thing that was thrown in there. I hate that Karen had to be the one to introduce the idea just so that Tyler Perry could get this whole storyline off. It annoyed me, but here we are. Even if Zach did hook them up, which I do think that we're about to go into a part of the season, y'all, where we're going to see more from the guys, because Zach is going to this basketball game. Aaron is at a basketball game, which we saw in the preview, and they're all going to start to be intermingling, right? So we are going to see the guys interact more. And yes, Preston and Zach do have a rapport. They do have a friendship because they met at Danny's house. But even if Zach did hook him up with the veterinarian, that's on them. Honestly, that's really on them. And it doesn't even take all of that, in my opinion. Okay, moving on. Let's go to, I think, one of the most underrated conversations of the night. And honestly, I'm going to say it's underrated because I wasn't really paying them any mind until I went back and rewatched the episode. The conversation between Andy and Karen. These two, ooh. If y'all are not new to the channel, then you already know how I feel about Andy and her inconsistency with her friends. However, we have bits and pieces of really genuine moments within their scene while they're still at Andy's house. You know, there is the one thing that annoyed me immediately. Like, I think I get triggered every single time this stuff starts to happen, but watching her friends basically like start to shame her a little bit about being sober or not partaking in weed or not partaking in alcohol, like, it annoys me. Andy started out asking a great question of like, hey, why are you not drinking? Okay, cool. But like, then it just made a turn of like, it needs to happen. And I was like, okay, so she's asking this question, let's get a good follow-up question. But no, it didn't even go down that route. And I'm like, you hoes are like really not paying attention to your friend, because to me it's very clear, like, Karen's whole mood has shifted, her whole vibration has shifted. She's no longer drinking, she's not doing weed, she's not doing any of these things. And the most that y'all could cultivate is like, oh, it's the preacher man. Really? Just because Gary flings you around like some little yo-yo and he got control and Mr. Puppeteer over everything that you do, don't mean that men are the reasons why we making all these damn decisions that we making. But okay, I'm not gonna harp on that too much because they do have a few genuine moments. I actually love the dialogue that Karen says when she says, I have to let go of Zach the same way that you have to let go of Gary. I feel like there has not been any truer statements mentioned this whole season compared to that one. That is some of the realest stuff that Tyler Perry has written. And both of these girls need to realize that. And I love the self-reflection and the self-awareness that Karen has to have to be able to communicate that. And I don't think that it actually lands on Andy in a way that she fully gets it, because she's so used to saying, oh yeah, I'm done. And then when I'm done, I'm done. Girl, you've been saying you done with Gary this whole time, and you, guess what, haven't been done. Gary been saying that he done with you, and guess what? His ass is still back. So no, Andy, when you say you're done, you're not done. When you say you're done, it just means, okay, I'm done for today. I want to go back and start over tomorrow with the bull. That's honestly what it means. That's what you have shown us that it means. Nobody can really take anything that you say seriously. You don't stand 10 toes down on pretty much anything. You let this man come in and out of your life and wreak complete havoc. He's an utter menace. And you had the nerve to, once y'all get pulled over and this cop shows his behind, or fake cop shows his behind, and then breaks out into this little random off-Broadway quartet that's whack, to sing along. Oh my God. Anyway, they have this conversation. Let me go back to the conversation at the condo, because they're talking and then Andy assumes, like, or doesn't actually say it, but you know, Karen anticipates, and she's like, no, I'm not waiting on Zach. And she's like, you sure? Yes, I'm sure. And then Karen asks, are they happy? And Andy says, I think so. Girl, you know so. You just ran out of that house because you saw how happily borderline crazy they was both giving. But okay, we're gonna go ahead and take, yeah, I think, because at least you being kind of honest before you would just flat out lie. And Karen says, good for them. For me, I love this because it feels very authentic. I do truly believe that she wants Zach to be happy. I know that the situation is a little bit complicated and it's definitely annoying, and she definitely has to, you know, heal and mend based off of like her heartbreak around the situation. But ultimately, I definitely think that she wants Zach to be happy. She wants Zach to be okay, and she really has that kind of love for him. And this is the seeds of that starting to be communicated to others. So maybe, hopefully, with her communicating this, Andy can stop running around here talking about how miserable Karen want to make everybody. I don't necessarily think that's the case, and you hoes like to make yourself miserable, but okay. Now this conversation leads up to them going to take a little joyride with the Rolls Royce that Gary got her, child. It's giving ghetto. I don't know why they did it, but that turns into this traffic stop that was coordinated by Gary, and just so that these little fake cops can sing, he miss you and he wants you back. Y'all, look at Andy's face. Look at her face. This is the moment, if I did not know before, which I definitely feel like I did, but this is the confirmation that I knew that Andy's a dummy. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Andy is a dummy. The way that she sings along after this man orchestrates a freaking routine racist traffic stop, there's no way. I really believe, y'all, after seeing this, that Andy is a complete lost cause. Whatever happens from this point on happens. I'm no longer worrying about her, because she's given simple, she's given easily manipulated, say she's giving stupid. And I want better for myself than to be having this worry and concern for this daggone fictitious character that can't get right, won't never get right, ain't never been right. I ain't gonna be able to do it. And I think that her friends need to go ahead and release her as well. Karen, when you get out that car this time, go ahead and create your distance from Andy, because she's running around talking about you behind your back, and then she's also still compromising herself, playing with this idea of getting back together with Gary. Oh, so the $500,000 car ain't gonna make you go back. Okay, cool. The $1 million worth of gifts in the back seat ain't gonna make you go back. Okay, cool. But the cop pulling you over, yelling at you, telling you to get out the car, and then pulling out a whole bunch of other little fake cops out their little clown car to sing this little whack song. That's it. That's it. That's the one. That's the take, right? That's the one that's gonna have you running back. Girl, you're dumb. I can't. And I mean that, y'all. If you disagree, go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below, but I said what I said. Okay, but let me go ahead and get to the best part of the entire episode, because I've been hemming and hawing around everything else that's actually happening. But can we talk about Zach and Fatima? Fatima, why do they continue to give? Like they don't miss. They literally don't miss. Y'all, aside from them, of course, making love, doing what they do, because they've been doing that, you know, pretty much since the inception of their little relationship or whatever. The dialogue that was had between Zach and Fatima this episode, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Like, bruh. I'm excited to actually talk about this, because I get excited when we see things on screen that I don't think that we actually do enough within relationships, or we don't actually see enough out and about in the real world. And the fact that Zach was able to, in the moment after they finish having sex, which, okay, I'm gonna be 100% honest, they finish having sex, he like, okay, I'm gonna get some water, give me 10 minutes and we're gonna go again. When she says that she wants to go to bed because she's tired, then all of a sudden he like, all right, well, I'm gonna go play basketball at 10 o'clock at night. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that to Fatima, because it sounds very fishy. It's giving no, sir, absolutely not. However, with Zach and his conversation around this in the scene, I thought it was just amazing, because he's able to register in the moment that she's uncomfortable, that she's feeling insecure, and that her trust issues are starting to bubble up in this specific moment. And he's able to sit with her, articulate what he's thinking, get her to articulate what she's feeling, and then reassure her in a way that is just so healthy and so beautiful. And they both deserve, like, yo, they out here having a whole mature ass relationship. And with that said, it's like, yes, insecurities are still going to arise, trust issues are still going to arise, but it's about what you do with it. You don't necessarily need to get an attitude because in this one moment your partner doesn't trust you, or is feeling like something might go down because of her past trauma and her lived experiences, right? I love that he didn't instantly get an attitude, oh, you don't trust me. No, it's not about, like, yes, it's about you because you're the other person in this moment that she's having the trust issues around. But when that kind of stuff happens, that's literally your past presenting itself in the future or in the present and trying to fuck up your future. And the fact that Zach was able to identify that, like, yo, I see the wheels turning, what's going on, talk to me. Like he said over and over again to talk. Like Fatima wanted to shut down quite a few times, and we know that that's her defense mechanism, right? She'll just get quiet and she'll be in her head and she'll try to detach, and he like, nah, I'm not gonna let you do that. I love that for her. Oh, I love that for her. This is such a beautiful way for this black man to also show his love for her, because yes, you could lay it down all day, you could kiss on her all day, you could tell her she's beautiful all day, but do you love her, or do you value her to the point where you're going to talk through her pain, where you're going to speak life into who she is and how she's manifesting within y'all's relationship? Do you love her enough to where that you're going to talk through all of the fears and the trust issues that are starting to present itself? You know, they can't stake their claim within her heart and mind in y'all's relationship. Like, he literally created a space where there's no room for that trust issue in this moment, because everything that she was thinking or feeling about what could go wrong, he kind of really just reassured that away. And it was just so good. And then also specifically within their relationship, he also has been attuned and paying attention to the fact that when she starts to feel like she don't trust him, or when she starts to feel insecure, she looks away, and you know, she breaks eye contact, and there's certain mannerisms that happens, and it's like, yes, it's the intentionality for me. It's that he's paying attention for me, and he calls her on it. And even the littlest thing down to, like, he tells her, you know, what it is, what their relationship is, reassures her, and he's like, you get me? And she's like, and he's like, like, nah, I need you to say it. Like, not like a dismissal type of yeah, whatever, but like, tell me yes, you understand what I'm saying. You here with me. We're connected in this moment. Y'all, it was given. It was completely given. And even for Fatima, like, she didn't have as much dialogue in the scene, but her being able to be open and honest about the fact that she looks away and she doesn't look into his eyes sometimes because she falls for him more and more when she does that. And it's just like, come on, you better be articulating the truth and being real raw and vulnerable out here, sis, because I feel you. So it makes 100% sense why you gonna look away, because you sit up here falling for this man and you want to make sure that he gonna catch you, and you think that he gonna catch you, and you hope that he gonna catch you, and he's giving so far that he's gonna catch you, but you never know because you've been dropped before. Child, I feel you. But Zach got you, boo. Y'all, this is literally what we're gonna be given in the Zatima spinoff, and I can't wait. Y'all, I got a video coming to give you like a literal compilation of what we can expect with the Zatima spinoff, and we can see specific moments of their relationship. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notification so that the moment that video goes live, you will get a notification about it and you'll be able to tune in and let me know what you think about how I believe we're about to see the Zatima relationship manifest on their very own show. If y'all ain't think that they were supposed to have their own show before, I definitely think tonight's scene made it plain, made it sure, and lets us know confidently that Zatima is about to be a hit. All right, y'all, before I go ahead and get out of here, let's talk about Sabrina and Calvin and this train wreck of a damn day. I am so trying to take Calvin and Sabrina seriously, but they keep getting this like this. Y'all, we get the introduction of Bio, who remembers Sabrina from before and wants to reconnect. After rewatching this, y'all, Sabrina was completely clueless, and when he tried to put his phone number in her phone, she took her phone back. Bio apologized at the table, and then when Calvin jumped up and was like approaching him, he apologized again, and then Calvin says, "You was disrespectful, you owe me an apology." He apologized again. So like, Calvin, what exactly are you actually doing, bro? The moment you presented yourself and said like, yo, she's on a date and with me, okay, cool, he literally backed off. So what is this whole macho act that you giving right now? Because it's giving toxic masculinity for no damn reason, and that has never been your MO. You are Calvin. You are sure about yourself. You like what you like. I am just so confused of what is actually happening in the scene. It's not unnecessary, y'all, because it does create a little bit of tension and it does give a little zhuzh to the Calvin and Sabrina storyline, but I just hate to see Calvin go out like this because he looked like a clown. He looks like he's trying to fight for some version of masculinity that he's performing, and it's stupid. I don't understand it. Like, I didn't even feel like this was the same as the Jacoby thing. Like, the Jacoby thing, I really, like, I felt like that was Calvin, but this whole confrontational, you owe me an apology even though you've already said that you'll apologize 2 times and now you're about to say it a third, and I still got an attitude about it, and what you want to do, blah, 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 blah. This ain't you. Like, what is actually happening? And then it escalates from there because Sabrina tries to get in the middle and like, all right, calm down, and it's serious. Then he starts to get disrespectful with Sabrina, and it's just like, all right, now you kicking this flavor this way, and she literally ain't even do nothing. Like, is she just not supposed to be fine? Is she not supposed to be a chocolate bomb bronze goddess walking around this good here earth? It ain't her fault that she's giving, her vibration is high and she attracts men over. I'm gonna need you to calm it down. Like, it escalates so quickly after he disrespects Sabrina and she's like apologizing to Bio, like, cause he is giving way too much energy. He's like, you don't need to apologize for me. You don't ever need to apologize for me. And then he decides to swing on him. Like, Calvin, what are you actually doing? You already got your ass beat once. What are we doing? And then, you know, before the episode exits, he gets his, you know what, beat again. And honestly, he deserved it this time. I hope that y'all enjoyed this breakdown I did for episode 3 from season 4, Pleasantries, BET, and Tyler Perry's Sisters. I actually did my initial thoughts video live, so if you would like to deep dive more into some of my initial thoughts, you can go ahead and click this video right here. And if you want to deep dive into the scene and talk a little bit more about the nuances of Zach and Fatima, click this video right here.